Welcome to a series of podcasts from Uprime. We had a long layoff because we were busy with our work. Now, today, we have started our podcast again. We have a guest today. His name is Bipin. Bipin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking. So, Bipin is into motivational videos. So, let's kick off our discussion with motivational videos. What inspired you to get started and be part of this trend wherein you become part of a community which shares motivational videos on your social media platform?
Yeah. So it all started off with myself, basically,
Okay.
where I had failures which happened in my life. Like I come from a town which is really, really far away from Bangalore. And then I came to Bangalore for my studies, and it was a new space for me to like get adjusted and stuff. People were a lot more confident in the stuff they were doing, and it was really amazing for me to see them, but at the same time to get acquainted to what they were trying to do and stuff. That was the initial start.
Okay.
And then it was a nervous start, but then after I had my, I'm being a bit more open here, after I had my first failure in my relationship.
Okay.
And there was that phase where I was getting into depression and stuff.
Okay.
During my college time, this was. So that kind of gave me that boost, because people will be there to talk to you and give you advice. Bro, it's okay, you're gonna be fine. But then at the end, it all comes to you as to how you deal with change. You can either go keep drinking and smoking up, or you could take it another step, into another level by learning something, or getting yourself engaged into things, into the community, give something to the community and stuff. So that's when I started getting into some online mentorship. Like, there are so many people who are staying positive in life, there's so many people who are building stuff, there's so many people who are trying to bring change to the community the way you think. So it all started off with me, and after that breakup, and then I started learning guitar, which is more into music.
Let's talk about the music part, because apart from the motivational stuff, I see that you're very enthusiastic and you're proficient in numerous musical instruments.
Yes.
Like guitar is one.
Guitar is one. So I
How did it all start? The journey?
Yes, so it all started off after my initial breakup, as I mentioned. So I wanted to get out of that stage.
Yeah.
So I was just going through a few, I was just surfing on the internet back then. So then I came to know that guitar is one way where you have to learn it, you have to use your techniques as well. It all matters. Then I started learning guitar.
And what year was this?
This was in 2014. Yeah, this was
2014.
Yes,
okay, you decide that you need to take charge of your life, and you want to do stuff, and guitar was your channel by which you wanted to put all your energy into.
Yes, that's exactly. So apart from my classes, when I used to get back, so I had to make sure my mind was into guitar. So I used to practice a lot. I couldn't afford to go for a class, so I made use of the internet, and I learned everything through YouTube and stuff like that.
That's how the new generation learns anything.
Exactly. So so I made use of that, and it was a bit hard. It was a bit hard because I was staying in hostel. My roommates were getting irritated, and initially you don't get the sound right.
Yeah.
But it happens.
It is not as melodious as the end product is.
Yes. Then I started learning, and that created, at the end of like 6-7 months, I composed my first song for the college fest.
Okay.
Called it's a hostel fest actually, called Utopia.
Okay.
So that gave me a lot of boost and energy, because
as an artist, I'm sure it's your first song, but you still wanted to communicate something to the audience, right?
Yes,
so tell me about the process as to what you were trying to do, and how did the idea of Utopia come about?
Okay, so it was basically like I wanted to deliver something through music to the people, and for the fest, when it is like it should be a bit more uplifting for people, but at the same time it should have that entertainment involved in the same. Because it's the only fest that happens for hostelites. So nobody had composed a video song or like a complete song of their own for the fest. So we wanted to come up with something. I joined hands with one of the really good guitarists down there who was, so we wrote music, and there was so many errors and stuff, but then we worked on it day and night. But then we came up with a really good song for the fest, and that people liked it.
Yeah,
So
let's
that
step
was,
back and find out where did you go to college? And this was college hostel, I suppose.
yes, yes, yes. So it was in RNSIT. I studied in
RNSIT.
RNSIT Bangalore. So this is the college hostel I used to stay in. Yeah.
So how have you continued after graduating to channel your passion into music?
Yes. Okay. So after my graduation, because my entire band split up, so we went into different places, and then the work thing came up. So I was a bit off from music back then after my graduation, because then I joined a corporate. So it was more into that, it's a new phase of life. You're meeting new people. You're like into that professionalism. You're developing that professionalism. So it's a bit way. But then I used to write music. So I'm more into like I write music. Whatever thoughts come down. If you're feeling sick, you just write about sickness. If you see a couple walking by, just write about them. If you see some inspiring guy talking on the internet, you just write, why is he talking like that? Just write.
Yeah.
Not that I deliver everything outside, but then I have a diary that I maintain, that I just start writing things.
What are the tips that you would suggest somebody who is going through a similar predicament and he wants to get out of it? And what are the things that you would initially tell those people? Let's say if there are 5 steps, let's say writing diary is one such a thing.
Yeah. So it all starts from yourself. First, first thing that you need to do is surround with people. People that you surround with has a lot to do with your life. Okay. If you surround with those people who are again gonna keep you in the same level or in the same constant mode of it can be your depression or you're undergoing something in life, you're gonna stay there. You're gonna keep cribbing. You're gonna keep like, oh my god, my life is not perfect. You're gonna stay in that stage. But then there are people doing amazing stuffs in life and they're ready to help you. If you have that mentality, not everyone would, but then you will always find that people, once you make the move, you can go through internet or anything. There are so many people talking about motivation and stuff. Watch those
Who
videos.
are those people like?
So
amongst the ones you admire?
Yeah, one is Shetty. He's been in the recent times. He's been like really inspirational. He's a guy from India, but he's doing his public speaking. He was a monk for 3 years and stuff. So now he is completely into the social space where he's helping people get out of their from the comfort zone or like the depression or anything as such to build. And one more is Gary V. Gary V is Gary Vaynerchuk. So he's had success in multiple business. He's an entrepreneur himself. He's known for his wine business actually recently.
Okay.
So and he's one guy. I mean, if anyone's watching this or hearing this, just go and follow him on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Just watch his videos. And trust me, in 1 week, your life will change.
I liked Tony Robbins quite a bit. What do you think about him?
Yes, Tony Robbins is another big example, because the kind of energy that he gives in to the audience and all is like it can be his podcast, it can be his videos are like really really inspiring. He's one of the people whom I follow on the list.
Okay.
As well.
So Gary V and Tony Robbins and Jay Shetty.
Yes. So
these are 3 people. So anybody
people.
who is interested in checking these people out, I'll probably provide these links in the video. You can probably check that out later. How did you get started with music? What made you choose music as opposed to, let's say, writing or acting or comedy? Or there are lots of other avenues in which you can channel your passion.
That's right.
So how did you decide music? Was there a background? Did you know something about the music? What made you think like you will make it in this creative field as opposed to some other creative field?
Okay, so music was, it also, maybe it was just my frame of mind. I don't know. At that point of time, I always enjoyed listening to a lot of Western music, and I wanted to listen to especially something which is a bit more dark and uplifting at the same time. So that was my kind of taste, which
sort of an oxymoron, dark and
uplifting. So that is like 2 different things. But then not many people listen to the way I listen. You don't want to listen to like really dark music and get into that. So
how dark is it? Like, give me garden variety.
It's like
dark.
Steven Wilson, who is like completely into like
familiar with it.
Very creepy stuff, and it's said that he visits creepy places like graveyards and
finds inspiration,
gets music out of it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm a big fan of Steven Wilson.
Okay.
So and then at that point of time, it was like, okay, I had to do something to get out of that, but at the same time, I wanted to create something and make an impact on people. It's if you can't measure what you're trying to do, then I don't think there's any value that it's like you have to bring value to people that you're trying to, your audience or
They
something
say this is a very statistics thing.
Yes.
If you measure something, there is room for improvement. If you don't measure,
Exactly.
you can't improve because you
That's-
don't know what to improve on. What's the benchmark?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So I mean, so you chose music because you
Yes.
like music.
Yes. So it was not like I wanted to become a rock star or I wanted to like, I'm gonna become the next Chester Bennington or like anyone like that. But then it was like for me to like communicate with myself most of the times. I don't, commercialize my music a lot. It's for me to like, engage. It's life is up and down. It's not like you have a straight path towards it. If I have my own problems and stuff, but then you have to like you can't show it on other people or stuff. I choose that path where music helps me to like understand that there is a lot of amazing things to happen in life, and there's a long way to go. I am amazing as a person. I am different from other people, but at the same time, I want to get that value out to people, and it's like self-motivating myself through music.
Are there things that you would want to go back and redo if you had a chance? Let's say someone, I mean, this is an important question because somebody who is 18 right now, who has just entered engineering, would find these points that you mention as a way by which they would want to organize their life. So would you want to go back when you're 18 and change a few things that you did that
Yeah.
might find, that might find the right place for somebody who is 18 right now who would want to follow in your footsteps?
So one thing I would redo is engineering. I would have never done engineering.
You would have not done engineering.
I would not done
What would
engineering.
all the parents say in a state like Karnataka where
I come from a family which is like a lot more, you could say a semi-orthodox, which believe in like you have a system education, you have a great job, you work for big companies, you go to the US and work. And my mom was asking the other day, all your friends are going, why are you still here in Bangalore? So, but then, it sums up to that, I would have actually not taken engineering as well. But
what is the one thing that is wrong about engineering? Or it can be better. Let's say you don't have passion for engineering. Sure, but then if there is one thing that they can change,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
feasible, but they're not doing it. What is that one thing?
One thing I would always believe is that, today the way world is changing, everyone wants to start something of their own. Everyone wants to have that entrepreneurial mindset. Nobody believes in textbook because you get so many things on internet. You can just Google everything. Everything is in front of you. But it's the people. The one thing I believe people should understand is everyone is looking for quick results. I see some guy who comes in a Lamborghini and he says like how to make money.
Ty Lopez does that, right?
Yes, exactly. Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez.
That's one more person, yeah. So, but then
I don't personally like him a lot. I mean, he
I-
gives out free cars and he assumes that.
I MacBook and Pro and $100 and
Yeah.
I follow him just to I don't know like I follow him.
He
to
has this methodology called 67 steps
Steps.
to become whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's quite a lot of difference between Tony Robbins and Ty Lopez.
That's-
People might conflate the two to think both are same, which is
Mm.
not the case.
That's true. That's true. That's exactly my point because you can't. Internet can lead you to different bad things as well. Because once, imagine the first guy I followed was Ty Lopez.
Okay,
I
interesting.
was like, oh my god, this guy's amazing, and he introduced me to that 67 steps thing. I was like, and the end of the video, you have to pay some $300 to sign up. I was like, okay, mate, I don't have.
So this is
one
some
thing.
warning. This is
Yeah.
like usually things like these come with some sort of a warning, but
Yes.
in this case, if he warns people, why would they follow him in the first place?
Exactly. And he has like 2 million plus followers and good number of subscribers on YouTube. No offense to him if he's doing a great job, but then I personally don't follow him as much as other people do. I'm just a small updated follower of him. But
Okay.
I am more into Gary Vee and people like that. So
Yeah,
who
that is
put
true.
in a lot of work rather than
Interesting thing about Tony Robbins, I would just like to mention when Bill Clinton had his scandal, Monica Lewinsky's scandal, he wanted to speak to one person in the whole world who was interested in talking to Bill Clinton at that time. A lot of people were interested because he's the president and he's in a scandal. So he wanted to talk to Tony Robbins. I mean, what they discussed in that discussion is quite confidential, but the fact that the president of United States, which is considered like the biggest country, and in the 90s it was even much bigger than what it is now, he wanted to talk to Tony Robbins. That goes to show the level of credibility he has amongst people who are very educated. And Tony Robbins left school when he was 18. But the fact that he has impacted so many people and he has such credibility amongst people who have achieved quite a bit,
That's right.
puts everything on the table. I mean, there's a huge difference between somebody like Ty Lopez and somebody like Tony Robbins.
That's true.
And coming back to the question, first point was you wouldn't do engineering.
Yeah.
What else do you want to change? What was the alternative? What education would you have
So
wanted?
I would have gone into something that would have got into the getting value for people. I always wanted to solve. Even now, I'm working towards it. Depression. Depression has been something people don't realize how amazing their life is in front of them, but it is those few bad moments that they always judge their life on. You always dwell on that, and you get stuck. And most of the time, and you want to live a mediocre life. You see a guy going in BMW, you're like, man, I can't get that. I just can't do that. But then there is, and also like relationships are getting so complicated these days.
Why do you think they're complicated?
It's because there's you're evolving in a changing world, and for example, when I came to Bangalore, people were like, dude, I think girls are like very free there. You can just date how many hours. That's the mindset that people have. You can
Back
just
home or here?
Yeah. But when I came to Bangalore, they were like, dude, you should be in that modern world where people date a girl for 3 months and then you date a girl for another 3 months and stuff. But then that's not the reality, by the way. There are people who do that. There are people who are in a bad notion of doing things, which I'm not against or for it, by the way. But
whatever works for them. But
whatever works for them, because it's the terms in which you agree for a relationship more than like if you're telling that you're going to be serious with your girlfriend and if you hook up with another girl, I mean that's not fair. Yeah? That's not the terms that you agreed with. But then if you're like, okay, man, let's take it slow. We'll start dating, and if it works out, it's good. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's cool. So yeah, I mean. So the second thing I would have changed is like, I would wanted to get into something very entrepreneurial. I would always wanted to work with some mentors who could have helped me get into these.
At the age of 18, do you think it's even feasible? So if we'll just put this in perspective.
Yeah.
So the second point you mentioned was you would want to work under a mentor at the age of 18.
Yes.
You think that would have worked out? You think
Yes.
there are enough people who have enough confidence in them to drop out of college or not even enter college and directly go work with a mentor, which I think has a lot of merits.
Yes.
But do you think that's what you're thinking
Yes,
about?
I mean, it is this is my own personal perspective. I don't believe that education is a boon or like, for example, engineering, there are people who are doing, even my friends who are doing amazing things, who are like, whom I'm personally proud of my seniors. I've been seeing people who are building great products and stuff. Engineering, it's a great place to be. For me, apart from, I probably feel that I could have restarted it because my way was all these people, Jay Shetty or Gary Vee, I came to know after engineering, and I was like, okay, man, I should have, gone back. And if I had met them maybe at 18, things would have been in a different state. So that's the perspective with which I'm trying to talk. But engineering is great for people who want to, learn it in the way it has to be learned. It's not just about what have we learned from textbook, but then nowadays, so many
it's all
people,
about implementation, building
application, and it's all about acting on, solving problems basically.
Yeah.
If you're finding solutions, it's super to be there. Just go for engineering. There's no bonus. But then don't join because everyone's joining.
Yeah,
Just
the
don't-
crowd behavior.
Don't go with it.
Are the other points that you would want to redo?
Are they? I'm sorry.
Engineering
Yes,
is one,
yeah,
and you
engineering.
would want to do something
Into the entrepreneur.
in the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah.
And are there any other things that you would want to do?
I think, these are two for now. I think I'll stop here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the other passions that you have?
So for me now, it's more into this motivational thing because I have few people whom I talk to regularly, and especially 2-3 people who I personally believe I've motivated them, and I write blogs these days. It's just been like a month and a half that I've started.
What is the
writing.
blog called? We can probably plug that in.
It's called the Chapter 1 Labs. So
Chapter 1 labs.
Chapter 1 labs.
Why? What's
Yeah.
Chapter 1 got to
Chapter
do with
1.
this?
So you can always restart your life from Chapter 1. So
Okay.
like, don't worry because something's going wrong and stuff. Get back to, sit back, relax. You will find that there's another pattern, there's another rhythm towards life. So start back from Chapter 1. So that's why I kept it as Chapter 1 labs. And so I write, it's more about I want to get amazing content that people have put on YouTube, or some amazing videos, or anything that comes to. I always take inspiration from people who crib about, like, man, this is not happening, that is not happening. So I try to figure out, I always note down as to how many people came and spoke to me today, what are the things they spoke to me.
Yeah.
And then I have a list of things that I've written it down. So based on that, I search on the net as to what are people doing for it, or against it, or what are people doing for. So then I come out with solutions, and then I put my own perspective towards it. There are people doing amazing things, so I bring those people and show it to these guys. Hey, see, man, this is people are doing things even against so many odds that are happening in their lives.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I'm really working towards. And one of my friends and me, we are he's in the US actually. So we were just having this discussion about how we can actually use data and come up with something that could solve this entire problem. At least not solve. It's not, because it's a really personalized problem, depression. Because not people don't come and speak out. It's not easy to speak out as well. You try to first figure out with the primary circle. It can be your family, it can be your friends, boyfriend, or like your sister, brother, anyone. And then people are afraid to go to the larger circle because of the security reasons and stuff like that. So we are just trying to come up with something that can help people get out of depression. At least come and talk to. There are a lot of people who are ready to help. So so many deaths are happening because of depression.
Yeah.
Chester Bennington's latest Linkin Park's.
So fame is not immune from.
It really shook me, because like, how do you define depression? Is he has good money, he has good families that is
earned fame, a lot of fans around the world,
and still it's getting a bit like weird as to how you define success. Doesn't define. I always believe, like, okay, if you're successful, maybe I think you'll be having a happier life, but it's not.
Talking about the depression, we as a company are working towards a product called Healthy Kit, wherein we have all these features which basically simulates what happens when you meet a psychologist. So what we are trying to do is, there aren't enough psychologists around. I hope you agree. There are lots of people with these kinds of ailments. What we're trying to do is, with the help of the app, we want to put the mechanism of these questions which captures the person's feeling right now, and we can relay that to a psychologist offline. Some of it will be automated, some of it will be analyzed by the actual psychologist. Do you think there is a need for a product like that?
Yes, absolutely. There is a need, because it's more about, if you can get some human element as well to the product, it'll be nice. It's just my open suggestion. But then people are looking forward to give all the information, because technology is like evolving. Everyone's getting into that tech space. So completely, I believe that people would be happy to if it's delivering results completely, people would give a good try. And if that's solving if it's solving one of the really major problems, people are coming out with different solutions, but it's just not there yet. So I think it's a really absolutely superb step that you've taken towards getting into that.
We're still in the making, and let's hope something nice comes out of it. And what do you do professionally?
So professionally, I work for a software consultancy firm, which is a French startup, and we basically help businesses in Europe to set up their software teams here in Bangalore.
Why don't you do the services bit yourself? Like, you just help them set up. What do you mean by that?
I'm a believer that so there are 24 hours in a day. So I work 9 to 6, and I believe that you can sleep for like 6 hours. 6 hours you sleep. Okay, you can take 1 extra hour, 7 hours. That's again like coming up to like 16 hours. And then you take like another 2 hours in traffic, or and give 1 hour for your friends, for your family. You still have 5 hours left. What you do and what you make out of the 5 hours is what I believe in. So
Yeah.
it's not like, and there are a lot of people, a lot of friends who have met that, oh, I want to start off something. You drop out of college, you drop out of the company, and then you end up like, oh my god, this is not what I want to do. Rather than that, it's okay. Like, you know, even all these big people, even Bill Gates mentioned that you can have different sources of income coming towards you in this age, and that's something that even Warren Buffett, all of these people believe in. They just don't invest in. It's. I'm not telling you should have. If you're happy with your 9 to 5 job, it's amazing. You know, you can really go into different stages. You can become a big part of the company. That's amazing. But if you're like, okay, man, I want to start something entrepreneurial, then start. You know, let the job be there. Start engage in the rest of the time. Even if 5 hours a day, or at least like 3 hours a day on your weekdays is like crazy. You can really do stuff. You can do amazing stuff. You know, you can work on your dream, see if it's working out, experiment, and maybe, you know, sacrifice your parties on the weekends and stuff. You can drink less, or you know, meet your friends less, and meet people who are on your same mindset. If you want to dream, you have to give up on few stuff. If you have a big dream and stuff, you have to give up on few stuff. But then as you plan it out, initially it will be a bit difficult, but because you're coming out of a, you know, into a life changing experience, and you're gonna make a lot of sacrifices and stuff. But you know, you plan it out in a way. You have 24 hours in a day. It's all about how you utilize it, and I think if you plan it out, it's definitely gonna work out.
And where do you see yourself in the future?
In the future, it's as I told you, I've been working with one of my friend on the depression problem. So we are just trying to come out as to how we could include a bit of human element, and also like, you know, get out of depression. And also I want to help a lot of people to, like, you know, make them feel how amazing their life is, and make people act on things rather than talking to someone. Start acting on things, because you will start seeing results, either good or bad. You will start seeing results. Once you start seeing results, you measure it, and then you improve on it, improve on it. And once you have a goal set, I think it's perfect for you to. So that's one thing which I wanted to do parallelly. And I'm also you know, getting into the big data space a lot, and there's a lot of data sets available in today's space. So I'm trying to figure out as to, especially for the problem with depression, I'm trying to collect a lot of data which we can get on you know, through different people and in the online space. So through that, we are trying to, you know, get into that problem of solving, at least, you know, getting there to help people around us. And that's one. And you know, of course, I help my friends, and whoever come to me, at least I try to. It's not like I'm some big motivational speaker or something, but then friends or some people who come and talk to me, at least I make sure they feel positive about life, and rather than just cribbing about it and spending their own life having a mediocre life. You can always dream big. As you know, the people who are successful, they are successful not because they got they had all their ideas, all the ideas that they got were fully formed. Ideas never come fully formed. You have to, they come in an unstructured way. You need to get them, you know, utilize it and come up with a product execution. Because if you see Flipkart, Snapdeal, everything follows the same model. The idea
It's
is the
more
same.
execution than innovation. There is no innovation at all.
That's right.
It's more of
That's right.
execution.
Even the Oyo's founder, Ritesh Agarwal, he recently said they had 18 copies of the same model. But none of us are known to us, because we only know Oyo rooms. It's all about how you execute it at the end.
Totally agree. So, like, if you have to, I always keep saying to people, like, you tell me the books and the people that you admire, I can probably know a lot about you. So, who are the people that you admire? What are the books you read, or what are the movies that you've seen that you feel like have inspired you?
Yeah. So, I'll start with the movies. Maybe I'm not a big fan of movies. I don't watch a lot of movies. But then there's one movie I would always recommend, The Pursuit of Happiness. So that's by Will Smith. You know, if you have not watched it, it's okay. You can still watch it. It's there everywhere. So please watch that movie. It's really amazing. You know, it really changes your perception towards life. And
most people think like he should have won an award, Will Smith, for that. He lost to Forrest Whitaker that year.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. So that's one movie, because I'm not a big fan of movie, but I watch a lot of. And then there is this documentary called The Secret. The Secret. It's a book, but they have also made a documentary. I watched it. That is also good. You know, if you have an hour and a half, probably it should help you, because They give you as to how you could visualize things, but don't visualize and go eat a sandwich, but work on it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's something that you need
It's
to
all
do.
about follow through.
Exactly.
I mean, Mike Tyson kept this saying. He said like you can make all the plans in the world that you possibly can. The plans don't come in handy when you're punched in the face. So when you're punched in the face, how you adapt to the situation is
That's
more
true.
important than
That's true.
the amazing plan you can put out before.
That's very, very true.
So, any books? Are you a bookish person? Like,
Yeah, so I read a lot of stuff online. So I'm not a big fan of books, but then one book which was recommended to me by my own manager, it is A Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Okay, I'm
Can you
sorry
repeat
for
that?
the-
That's an interesting
Yeah, so
title,
it's
but
called-
you don't have it's okay
It's
if
okay
you
to
swear.
work, yeah, so it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's by the author called Mark Manson. So
Subtle
it's
Art of Not Giving a
Giving a
Fuck
Fuck.
by Mark Manson.
Manson.
We'll note
And
that thing down.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do note it down. Please do read it. It's there on the internet space as well. You can download the PDF. But then I would recommend go buy the hard copy. Read it, feel it, and just follow this, because just follow what he tells, and it's very straightforward. He's not trying to make up anything. It's in a very layman's language as well. So it's everything is there in the title, and it will really change your perspective towards life. As to what others think about you, it doesn't matter. It's all about what you think is right, and when you know that the society is like coming with you for the right things, it makes sense.
Okay. Does guitar figure out in your plans? I mean, does guitar figure
So-
in your plans?
Yeah, guitar is like, as I told you before, it is more for my personal. I've never commercialized anything as such, but then I do keep playing around in pubs and stuff when there's open house events that happens in Humming Tree and stuff. So we do keep playing, and even right now in the coming week I'm playing in for Open House Bangalore again for a cause, for a community program that's happening, and. So in that kind of events, it's more like an acoustic performance that I keep putting in. But then all the stuff that I write are more for me to like realize that how wonderful life is and stuff like that. So it's for now it's more in that personal space. I don't even have a SoundCloud profile or anything like that. But
So you
maybe
don't
I
put
will-
out music. Maybe you will in the
maybe-
future.
Yes, I will for sure.
You think live performances have lost their way because of the internet, and because of the availability of music and media online for free?
That's,
You think?
Yeah, I do believe it's lost its touch. First thing for me was like I felt really, I feel really bad that rock is dying day by day. The
I
classic
thought rock was already dead, but yeah.
Yeah, but then because there are still bands like Foo Fighters
Okay.
who still believe that even Steven Wilson, except for the keyboard effects that he brings in, he still has that entire hard rock thing that comes into picture. And Linkin Park is another example. Although they have the guy who does the DJing part, but apart from that, they play live really well. And Foo Fighters, if you haven't heard of it, he was the lead singer of the band, was a part of Nirvana. He was a drummer of Nirvana who formed, and he's someone who still supports and does music only with like
Live
these
bands.
live bands and stuff. And these are all people who perform live like crazy,
Okay.
and they believe in going out in front of people and showing it to them rather than going into the technology space. I'm not telling technology is bad. Yes, you have to, because that's what is evolving. YouTube's, you want to make money, you just start playing a guitar at home. If people are happy over it, then you get a lot of subscribers. But then exactly, it is dying a lot. But there are people who are keeping it alive. Ed Sheeran, he does stuff.
Yeah.
live. So guitars. It's not like it's completely dying, but then the entire thing about electronic music is actually evolving. People are getting more inclined towards electronic music, but then there is that huge bunch of people who still believe that live music is alive. But then it's somewhere got lost in touch, because Justin Bieber came in, there was lip syncing. Not that I'm specifying, but there are a lot of even if on YouTube you search lip syncing, there are a lot of people who have been caught also. So, but yeah, there are people who are doing it, but it is dying.
Yeah.
Live music is somewhere going for a toss.
To conclude, where do you want to leave your mark, if you have to look back at your life and see this period of life that you're living, what kind of marks that you want to leave behind?
Okay, leave behind in the sense like you mean in the future
Yeah,
as
yeah.
to what I would. Yeah, so in the future, as I said, it's for me. I'm more like the people person. I wanna, if you can. It's not like you have to impact the entire world. Not everyone is your, the whatever I'm talking today. It won't be like, it is not like for everyone. But then there are, if I have been motivated by some speakers, it's because only few set of speakers inspired me. So at the same time, I want to get that content out there. There have been people who have been helped by, I've given few tips and few advices about life. So it has helped them to become a better person in life. So that is one. If at least if I can change one life, that will be like an amazing thing for me. So that's my main primary focus. It's about there's everything today, like we bringing people together. There's social networks and everything, but still we are suffering from major mind problems and depression, and we get lost in life and stuff. Competition, people scare you, and you're just running. Like it's okay, you can just stop. Take a deep breath. It's all fine. It's gonna be fine. So that's one thing. And secondly, in the field of music as well. So as I told, I haven't commercialized a lot because of the the other things that I'm working on. I want to really get that positive content. Even if you see my Instagram page, it's at least out of the, I think I have 170 posts till now. But then out of that, I believe at least 50% of it is into motivation. And it's not like I don't credit, because it's obviously I took it from some other people, but then I give credits to them for the kind of things. Goalcast, if you're there on Instagram and stuff, do follow Goalcast. They provide like some really good content on inspiration and stuff. So that's the second part where with respect to music, I would definitely getting it out, my own singles and stuff, and that will come in the long term. But then right now it's priorities, people, changing people's mind.
Thanks, Bipin. It was sensational talking to you.
Same here. It was really nice meeting you, and I really wish you the entire luck for the app that you're trying to build. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing initiative that you've taken, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of solutions that you'll come up with. And once you find people, coming into your app, I think it's just gonna grow from there.
Yeah.
Because it's a really big, I would call it a disease that is actually getting into people's mind.
Yeah, that is true.
We need to really solve.
So Bipin is talking about mental health cases.
Yes.
So this is something that we're working on. Hopefully we'll get some results, and probably we'll get you on board if the need be.
Sure. I'll be really happy to be a part of this community. Always.
Yeah. Thanks for the discussion, Bipin. And hopefully you guys have liked this conversation. We'll be doing more of these with interesting people who might bring in perspective about life in general. Thanks a lot for joining.